Yeah. So as I can see, there are few new faces. Welcome everyone, and once again, congratulations for the pre-approval. And we are going to explain you why you should continue with Prosper and how we can help you. So as you can see, our ratings on Google, there are students from all over the Sri Lanka who are successful and currently in the UK pursuing their studies. So before starting, you might be wondering who I am and who we are. So I told about Prosper. Just to give a small background of myself, I'm Lasantha Jayawardena, one of the directors of Prosper Global Education, and you might have already spoken to Sandeepani. She is also the other director of Prosper Global Education. You might talk to either Sandeepani or myself throughout this journey. So we want to emphasize that we are a top-notch student recruitment agency in Sri Lanka, but we are bringing the global expertise. So you will have that global scale customer service and the global level support throughout your journey, because we have seen this industry. We were with education and helping students for a very long time. So personally, also as well as a business, we've been helping students for their journey. I myself personally went through the same journey as an international student. So the experience and the exposure we are sharing here are not just repeating something on the website. We are sharing our expertise as well. Also, we went through the same journey from a bachelor's degree to master's. So we can guide you with our experience, expertise when we tell you the bachelor's or the master's or a PhD or a MRes research. We can relate these things to you because we also went through that journey itself. Also, we help students as a university lecturer for most of the for few global universities. So me and my team, we understand how it relates to a student and how a student life should be. So that's a brief of who we are and the presenter today. So now let's come back to the story, the self-discovery and planning, which we believe is one of the key aspects, the most important part of your journey or the initial stage. Now, if I ask the question, why do you want to study abroad? Then people have different answers. If you can answer this question by yourself, why do you want to study abroad? So these are the most common answers when I ask this question. Students say the career advancement, the quality of education, the personal growth, long-term opportunities. So these are the different answers students are giving when we ask the question, why do you really want to study abroad? Now, all these points are really valid. And did you know 95% of international students cite career advancement as the primary motivation? Yeah, so Nishantan is saying exploring the abroad experience along with career development. So that's a good answer. And Nishantan, that also aligns with the answers we have here. So that's one of the aspects most of the students are really interested in studying abroad. Also in 2023, over 29,000, almost 30,000 Sri Lankan students studied abroad. So it is not just you going there. You are not alone. This is something you are part of another big group or a community. And this is a journey. It is not just one time event happening today or tomorrow. You will be going through this journey and we are helping you. And another important aspect is identifying long-term goals. As I said, it is not just today, it is the next year, next 5 years, next 10 years. Maybe the decision you are making today might impact your generations to come. So that's how powerful this journey could be. And you need to have your career objectives. You need to know how your international degree aligns with those and what are the global employment opportunities. So you need to understand all these aspects. Now, when we talk about this subject, most of the students skip few steps, because when you are talking about a student, it's a process, as I said. So there are migration opportunities, that's true, but you should not think from that aspect, because to become a permanent resident or a citizen of another country, going as a student is your very first, like the initial point. So you have to start as a student most of the times, then you progress to a graduate level. That means after completing your degree, then after that you get the professional experience, and then you become a migrant. So most of the times what we see as education consultants is students mix up this process. They just want to jump from student to migrant, which is not going to happen, because that's a process of like 5 to 6 years minimum in any country. It doesn't matter you are going to the UK or any other country, that time takes you to go from a student to a graduate to a professional to migrant. So you have to understand that clearly. And if you have that myth, you can simply skip these steps. That is highly impossible, because that is how the structure works, and the countries expect something from you in return as well. So that's how you go through this journey. Now, choosing the right field of study. So when I ask the question why you want to study, and then the next question is what should you study? So how can you research the demand for the next 5 to 10 years? So there are tools. Now, for an example, if you go to local websites like Rooster, Top Jobs, Express Jobs, you know what are the local opportunities. Similarly, you can check global opportunities. So you can go to Indeed, Seek, LinkedIn, Glassdoor, these kind of websites. You can go and explore what are the careers in demand over the next 5 to 10 years, because the investment you are making today, that is for a long term. So you have to have that open mind and understand these opportunities. Also, you need to know what are the high demand skills. For an example, tech, sciences, engineering, healthcare, business, education. So this is just a list of 6 high demand skills, but there are plenty of skills. If you are in a total different segment, your skill might also have high demand, but you need to identify that and you need to study that. That way your skill is high demand, and you have that, but you have that power to promote or market your skill. Now, how can you self discover and assess yourself? So there are few scientific tools. For an example, if you go through these online tools like the Myers-Briggs type indicator, or the MBTI we call it, or the 16 personality types, and the most known, the SWOT analysis, the strengths, weaknesses, threats, and opportunities of yours. So you can categorize, or you can list down those in this SWOT diagram, and you can identify yourself. So there are few free tools as well, like the 16 personalities, insightful traits. So if you Google these things, you can simply evaluate yourself within few minutes, free of charge, online. Then the next important thing is building the support system. So you have to connect with the alumni associations, online forums, social media groups, student associations, and things like this, to understand why should you study abroad and what are your opportunities, what are the current trends, how to find part-time jobs, accommodation. So all these things you can find through these kind of portals and build support systems. Okay, now the next important thing is country and the university selection. So you are here today thinking UK is a good option, and you might be having some other thoughts. Okay, so I know about UK. What about Australia or Canada, New Zealand? Or you might have different thoughts. Now, for that, you need to do some research. So, what are the top study destinations? Now, in the overseas or the study abroad destinations list, there are top 4 players. Those four countries are the UK, Canada, the US, and Australia. And then we have other countries like the New Zealand and the European Union, where you hear Sweden, Finland, Denmark, and all these countries. So those kind of secondary destinations are also there. Now, you should know how to evaluate these countries from various parameters. So just to give you a breakdown, now this is for you, we've done that. For an example, if you get UK, the cost of living, now for the easiness of comparison, we brought everything to US dollars. Now in the UK, you can see here, the standard cost of living is annually around £12,500. I will further elaborate this. If you go to somewhere in London, the cost is bit higher. If you go to outside London, it is lower than this. But average, it is somewhere around £12,500. And the minimum course fee, it is close to £15,000 or 18,000, sorry, $15,000 or 18,000 pounds. These are all before scholarships, and you have scholarships on top of this. And average master's duration is just 1 year for a master's program. And main language is obviously English, and the climate, because climate also plays a pivotal role. Some people, they don't like too cold. That's why they, whenever you are talking about a country like Canada, they don't like too much because of the cold weather. And you can compare this with other destinations. We have Canada, US, and Australia, the top four players or the big four players. So as you can clearly see, as we go down, Canada, US, and Australia, those are becoming more expensive. And minimum course fee also, UK is like 15,000 USD, but Canada, US, Australia again like 20,000 in average. And the best part is in the UK, you can complete a master's degree in just 1 year. Whereas in Canada, US, Australia, it's mostly 2 years. So you have that flexibility in the UK. That means the course duration is low, and language is all English. And climate, you have in Canada, you have extreme weather, temperate weather. In Australia, there are places like closer to the equator, the weather is like Sri Lanka. But when you compare the other factors, like the cost of living, the course fees, average duration, you can see it is not just one factor. So when you look at the big picture, you can see UK ranks at the top because the cost of living is affordable compared to its counterparts. Course fee is very affordable. Duration is just 1 year most of the times. Language is English anyway, and the climate is temperate climate. So by analyzing all these factors, UK is a great option for Sri Lankan students. Now, the next one is the university ranking. So this is actually a part of your SOP as well, the statement of purpose. You need to justify why you pick a certain university and the rankings and everything. So don't worry, we will help you with that. We know that's a kind of a stressful or a challenging process, but don't worry, we will make sure your life will be easy during that part. Okay. So university rankings, there are multiple university websites like the QSwell rankings, the Times Higher Education, Guardian, or the US News and World Report. Or there are some other rankings like academic ranking of world universities. So these are globally accredited, globally renowned universities. So you need to know, you like, not because of we are telling you, you have to go and do your research, and you have to identify the programs you are going to study have a long-term potential. So we can help you with all these options. Now, earlier I touched a little bit on inside or outside London. So this is a very common question when we ask students. Students' question is, should I pick a campus inside London or outside London? So there are a few factors to consider. One is the cost of living. So this is the standard cost of living calculation you have to show for the fund requirement of your visa. Now, if you study in a campus outside London, it should be 1,136 per month. If it's inside London, it is 1,483 pounds per month. Now you can see if you go to a campus inside London, you have to show extra funds for that period. The other thing is course fees also inside London campuses have a higher course fee compared to its out of London campus. So if you compare a same university, for an example, Coventry University, they have a campus in London as well as in Coventry. So the MBA program in Coventry University is cheaper than, if more affordable than the MBA program in London. So that is the differentiation. And part-time work opportunities is another key thing. When we talk about inside and outside London, students usually ask, okay, if I go to London, I have a lot of opportunities. If I go outside London, I will not have opportunities to work. So is that true? Now, I know when we talk to students, when we talk to your relatives or the people who are there, everyone has their own opinion, right? So if the opinion a person is giving you might be totally different to another person you're asking the same question. But at the end of the day, how can you make the decision? So how do you know whether you have part-time opportunities or not? The best thing is not just opinions by one or the individuals. You have to look at statistics. So what does statistics say? So according to the Office for National Statistics, this is not Sri Lanka, this is the UK Office for National Statistics. These are the inside versus outside London part-time work opportunities. So if I share you this screen, you can see the towns consists of 52% of part-time opportunities, part-time and the job opportunities, where in London it is just 19%. So 81% job opportunities are outside London. You can see them. Inside London, 19%. Yes. Now, inside London, the job opportunities are more specific because it is a financial hub and there are a lot of opportunities inside London. That's true. You have to accept that. But outside London also is not bad as people are saying, because every time anyone is commenting on based on their personal belief and the view. So you have to always look at numbers and statistics when you are making a decision to study abroad. Now, also you can see it here, how the growth is over the past 12, 13 years. So London as well as other cities, they all had the same growth. Now, what are the student support services available for international students? So as an international student, when you start your journey in the UK, in any of those universities, all the universities offer these standard services like counseling services. So whenever you have any issues, you have a dedicated counseling team to support you. There are academic support teams, career services, accommodation and living support. So they help you to find out where to stay. Because the first few weeks or months would be tough and challenging. So you need some support, and they have all this support dedicated for you. And then language and communication support. So if you want to improve your English, or you want to learn a secondary tertiary language, then you have that feature, that capacity and the availability. Also student engagement and communities. You have student clubs, and some universities even have their Sri Lankan Student Association. So you can join these clubs and support services. So next, we are talking about how to choose your university, select the university. Then one of the other important aspects is the accreditations. So accreditations, there are many bodies. For an example, if you are going for an engineering program, they have the Engineering Council UK accreditation. If you are going for a business management, you have Association of MBAs. Likewise, so if you are going for computing, it's a British Computer Science Society, or the BCS. So likewise, there are multiple accreditations and bodies. So the most of the times the programs you are registering in the UK are accredited by these professional bodies. So that means you have more guarantee and your qualifications are well recognized. And these are some examples from websites. For example, CMI, they recognize this qualification at Nottingham Business School. This is again from Nottingham Trent University. They have all these things. So this is just an example to show you this is how those things look like. This is from London Metropolitan University. All their programs are BCS or the British Computer Society accredited. So the programs you were offered today also, all these programs are accredited by the educational institutes as well as by one or many of these kind of bodies. Now, what are the key intakes? The main intake you are working now is the best intake. That is September and October intake. That is the most popular intake and full course availability is there and the longest application window. Now, the downside of this is since it is the most popular intake, it's getting filled very fast because everyone from all over the world, they want to get into the UK this September. So they try their level best to apply as soon as possible. So that's the most famous intake. Then they have the January, February intake. They have decent options, not like September, October, not all the programs are available, but that's like the secondary option. And then May, June, very niche or very limited number of foundations or programs or even master's programs, but the count is very low. So you are at the right point, and now we are now in the month of May. So you are in the sweet spot, so you can apply, get your offer letters. You all most of you got your pre-approvals today. So once we submit the actual application, you will get your offer letter very fast, and then we can start with the next step. So you have plenty of time to get into the UK for the September intake. So that's the best part. And you made that right choice by joining this webinar today. Now, this is the most important part. Let me, if you have any questions, you can ask, you can put it in the chat before I move into the financial planning section. So feel free to ask if you want to raise, if you want to ask, you can even unmute yourself and ask the question. Or if you want to, like if you want to put it in the chat, that's also fine. All right. Okay, let's move on. But feel free to ask any question if you feel lost. If you have any doubts, always put it in the chat. I'll explain you right on the spot. Okay, so nothing to worry. There are no stupid questions. Every question is a good question. If you have any doubts, you can always ask. Because this is a journey you are starting, you are doing only once in your life, and you have never done this. Most of the times, most of your parents haven't done this, your friends or anyone known to you haven't done it most of the times. Maybe there are, like cases, but if you have any questions, feel free to ask. We are always here to help you. All right, so let's move on to the financial planning. Now, how to calculate your funds, how much money is required. So that is one of the most crucial aspects and one of the most asked questions. All right, so let's get an example. Now, let's assume you are going to a university outside London. Okay. And here in the red color, you can see currently we are calculating one GBP or 1 pound is equal to 400 rupees. So this is the current rate. It might be when we do the actual calculations, we actually calculate it for like 420. So even with the currency fluctuations, you are safe. But that's fine. We can go with the today's the current rate, which is around 400 pound, 400 rupees. And let's assume the course you are going to select is 15,000 pounds. Okay. So this is without scholarship, I'm telling. And for the CAS, now CAS is a document which the university issues to the student saying the student is eligible to become a student, to apply for a student visa, and the university is sponsoring the student. So when you submit your visa application, there's a field to submit to mention your sponsor's reference number or the sponsor ID. So your sponsor ID is mentioned in your CAS letter. So CAS letter has a different process which I will cover. And for the CAS process, to get the CAS portal, you need 5,000 pounds as your initial tuition fee. So this 5,000 pounds differs from some universities get like 3,000 pounds, some universities 5,000, some 8,000. So it's basically between 3 to 8,000 pounds. Good to say 5,000, 6,000 pounds. And the duration, as I earlier mentioned, your health sorry the duration is the course duration is 1 year, mostly in the UK for a master's, so that means 12 months. Now with all these numbers, when we come to this side, student initial tuition fee, which is 5,000, which is this one. So when we calculate this by 400, that comes to 20 lakhs, so 2 million. And your visa fee is 524 pounds. Health surcharge is calculated as 1,164. Now, the only change here would be for health. For an example, if you are going for a master's for 2 years, then your health surcharge is calculated for 2 years. So it will be like almost twice, but it is not that expensive. It is not actually this number into two, because the way they calculate it, it has a different formula. So we will be helping you with that. But just for your easiness, you can think it is 1,164 into 2, but it is theoretically it's lower than that. So assuming you are going for a 1 year master's program with a course fee of 15,000, which requires 5,000 pounds for your CAS without scholarships, then you need initially 2.675 million or 26 lakhs for the initial process for these three steps. Now, this amount could go up or down based on the number we are putting here. For an example, if your course fee is lower than this and your CAS is lower than this, then this number could go down. So that's why when you are talking to a person, they might say, you can go to the UK for 2 million or 3 million. Some might say 4 million. So all these are correct because every university has entry criteria. You have to make sure your profile meets that entry criteria. Then only you can go with that university. Then if you select that university, the university itself has their own criteria for the CAS, the course fees, the duration, things like that. So based on all those parameters, this number will be changed. But you don't have to worry, because when we talk to you, we will be guiding you through the process and we will exactly tell you this is the course you have picked, this is the scholarship you received, and this is how you should calculate it. Sorry, just 1 second, everyone. Yeah, sorry guys. So yes, so that's the initial money in hand required. Now, if you can see this column, I have mentioned no relevance to your show money. So can be paid by anyone. So if you have any relatives in the UK, even they can pay this initial tuition fee using their bank or their bank card. So no one is checking how did you pay that. and it doesn't need to stay in your bank account or your parents' bank account. So that is not needed. So that is one part of the story. Now, the second part is the fund requirement, which is commonly known as show money. So people call about show money, right? So how do you calculate the show money? So show money has two components. One is the remaining tuition fee. Now, remaining tuition fee means your course fee is initially £15,000. For the cash, you paid 5,000. Cash means the initial tuition fee. So 15,000 minus 5,000 is 10,000. So that is the remaining tuition fees. That is that. And the living expense. Do you remember when I spoke about inside and outside London map? I told you there are two types of living expense: inside London living expense, outside London. So inside London living expense is calculated. Sorry, this is the outside London is calculated as 1,134 into 9. So that's how it's calculated, and that is equivalent to 10,224 pounds. So altogether, the pound value comes to 20,224, which is 8 million in this example. Okay. Now, this is the number which is known as show money. So, show money is basically your remaining tuition fee plus living expense. So, 8 million rupees in this example needs to be in your bank account for 28 days. So it could be your bank account or your parents' bank account. But if you are a matured student going for your master's, it's better to have it with your bank account. But if you don't have, that's fine. If it is in your parents' account, you can still have a, like a mutual agreement. Your parents can tell, I'm happy to sponsor I'm happy to give this money to my kids' education, and they can also show that. So that's fine, but we will guide you with the best practice. Okay. And so no one asked about the source of funds here. So whether you got it from your parents or not, whether it was in your bank account. So as long as the 28 days rule is fulfilled and that money is in your bank account or your parents' bank account, that's the requirement for the UK immigration. So I hope this is clear, because this is one of the most asked questions. Before moving forward, if you have any questions, please ask now so I can explain you right away with the same example. So you all are very much clear how to I can clarify all your doubts here. Feel free to ask this question. As I said, no one is here to laugh you or anything, because you all want to go to the UK this September. So we are here to help you. If you have a question, ask it, and I'm happy to help you. Okay. If you can't ask it, maybe even you can chat here. So I'm happy to help. Okay. No problem. So so now here the example was outside London. Now let's talk about inside London. Okay. So if you are talking about inside London, now what is the scenario here? So it is the same scenario. We are talking about the same course fees, same amount for the cash, same duration. But you can see the show money component is different. Initial money in hand, it is the same. If I go back to the outside London, it is 2.67 here, 8.08 here. But when we go to the inside London, it is the exact same 2.67 here, but it is 9.33 here. So it is like 1.3 million difference. So that from where did that difference come? So I believe you all are happy with this first part. It is the initial tuition fee plus visa plus health. That is how your initial money in hand is calculated. Your remaining tuition fee is calculated based on the 15,000 minus 5,000. And here you can see the difference, only difference is the living expense, which is 1,400, approximately 1,400 pounds into 9 times, which is 13,347 pounds per annum. So if you are going for an inside London campus, you need to have this same amount in your bank account or your parents' bank account for 28 days. So I hope this is clear. And as we mentioned, these requirements may vary depending on the course fee which you are putting here, or the duration, because if your duration changes, your health surcharge gets increased. Then the scholarship amount, let's say some of you I can see here, you all got a scholarship of like 3,000 pounds or 2,000 pounds. Okay, then your course fee goes down to maybe 12,000 pounds or 13,000 pounds. Then you can see here the remaining tuition fee goes down because you are getting a scholarship. So your remaining tuition fee goes down and your show money component goes down. So there are some cases the student has to pay like 2.6 million here, and even for show money, you just have to have 6 million or 7 million if you are going outside London. There are scenarios based on the scholarship amount as well. So this is the difference you need to understand inside versus outside London campuses. All right. And the other part I told you, based on the duration of your post study, your health surcharge would be different. Now, it's a bit of complex way how they are calculating it, but for you, we have done that. So you don't have to worry. Now, based on the number of months, the IHS or the health surcharge differs. Immigration health surcharge differs. So for if you are going for 1 year masters, it is calculated up to this point. It is usually 12 months plus 5 months. So that's how they calculate it. So if you are going here, you have to pay somewhere around 1,164. If you are going for a 2 years masters, then the number of months is like 24 months. So the total IHS is 1,552. So this is if you are going for a 2 years master. So if you are a student going for a bachelor's degree, let's say your bachelor's is for 3 years, which is 36 months. It is somewhere down here, somewhere like 2,500 pounds for the IHS. So we will guide you with the exact health surcharge amount so you can be prepared with your finances and you know what is coming your way, when you have to pay these, and all the things we will be guiding you. So you don't have to worry, and we'll be guiding you step by step. Now the next thing is living expenses. So this is also a very common question students ask. As I initially said, you always have to do your research. Now, living expenses, the rent takes the most amount of your fees, or sorry, the expense, because it is usually around 400 to 600 pounds based on where you live, which kind of a place you live, things like that. So if you hire your own apartment, it might be costly, but if you share a place with your friends or family, or like any known ones, then it might be more affordable. Groceries, you can see 100 pounds approximately. All these numbers are based on your personal preferences and circumstances. So it is not very strict as I put here. It can go up or down based on your personality. Then you have other like socializing, travel, household, and different finances, different living expenses, right? So all these may vary depending on your individual city of residence, lifestyle choices, the currency fluctuations, and things like that. And you need to be very careful because you are going as an international student with a limited budget. So you need to make sure how to use your money wisely and to save as much as possible. So we will guide you through that as well. Whenever our students are going, we have a separate session called the pre-departure seminar. We tell students these are the ways you can do this, and we help them throughout. Now, exploring funding options. So I know this is another important factor. Now, there are scholarships. Most of you might have received scholarships, as I remember. There are scholarships varied from 1,000 to 5,000. So don't get overwhelmed, because how the universities are giving you scholarships, when the standard course fee is low, they give you a lower scholarship. But the standard course fee is high, they tend to give you a 15,000, 50,000 kind of a scholarship. So don't expect to have like 5,000 kind of a scholarship from a university offering a very affordable offer, affordable course fee, because that is not how it's working there. So but end of the day, the average after scholarship, the average you can have somewhere around 13,000 to 15,000 pounds course fee, which is really good, because most of the time some universities have like far higher than that. And you have country specific scholarships, academic merit scholarships. We met few students who are with extremely high GPAs, like like first class or even above 3.5. We can sometimes apply for additional 3,000 pounds, or sometimes we can apply for those scholarships, but based on the merit. And if you are an alumni of some universities, you can get that kind of a scholarship as well. For example, Kingston University offer that 10% alumni scholarship. So those who completed their bachelor's degree at ESOFT or ICBT or something like that in Sri Lanka, they are eligible to apply for that. But they are not giving you multiple scholarships. It will be only one scholarship. The most uh, amount you are getting, you will be getting. The others you will not. And sometimes the universities have early bird bursaries, like the University of Law. They have that promotion most of the time. So if you pay your fees before that deadline, then you get extra 500 pounds or something like that. That kind of a bursaries are there. Then we can also help you with loan options. When I say loan options, usually you remember that financial calculation we discussed for the remaining tuition fee. There are certain uh, financial institutions offering loan option, but specific to certain universities, not for every university. So these are university specific. So if you are interested, you can talk to our consultants as we progress. We can help you to find out whether it is available. It is not 100% guarantee. However, we can help you if the university is offering. We can definitely help you to find some loan options. Then people ask about part-time work. As an international student, you can work up to 20 hours per week during your term time. So 20 hours is usually like if you are working 4 days, it's 5 hour sessions. So likewise. And during your holidays or the uni breaks, you can work, you don't have work restrictions, so you can work unlimited hours. And there are few tools like Mint and Monzo for budgeting. So you can, like play around with these tools. You can simply go and type these terms on Google, and you can see what are the expenses, how much you need, and things like that. All right. So the next one is study pathway. So most of you who are here, I think pretty much all of you have now gone through this. So this is not anything new to you, but I just want to share you this, because as you know, you have the foundation to bachelor's, to top up degrees, to pre-masters, to master's degrees. There are two types of masters: masters taught as well as masters research and PhDs. So the most of the audience we had today, they were fit into bachelor's degree or the master's. But I'm pretty sure you all got what you are going to do. So those who are going for masters by taught, uh, that is based on a bachelor's degree. But if you are going for an MRes or a master's by research, they specifically check whether you have research background, your profile is strong with strong work experience, as well as you have IELTS. Whereas for taught masters and bachelor's degrees and top-up degrees and some pre-master's degrees, based on the qualifications, there are some IELTS waivers. For an example, if you are going for a master's, sometimes they consider whether you have a O-level C pass or A-level C pass. Or if you have a bachelor's degree from a recognized public university, the MOI, which is commonly known as. or if you have completed a UK degree, then those kind of programs, those kind of students have the eligibility to apply without IELTS. And the other best part is, unlike other countries, if the university says, okay, this student is evaluated based on his this criteria, then the immigration will not question that decision from the university, because immigration accepts that. Because sometimes, for an example, Australia, the university might give you an IELTS waiver, but when it comes to visa, the Australian immigration specifically asks for IELTS 6.5 or 7 or based on the requirement, but that is not applicable to the UK. So that's the best part. Okay. So English language proficiency, ELP, this is what I've just covered. And IELTS is mandatory for specific programs. So IELTS are not waived off for anything like nursing, law, masters by research. Some agents promote it in Sri Lanka, but we don't do that because we have seen students getting into trouble. If you are a student who is going for MRes, don't get into that trap that you can go with IELTS waivers. Okay, but if you are going for a standard masters, which is a taught masters, that's totally fine. So we help so many students, no issues at all. But especially nursing, low MRes, pre-masters also there are options, but widely they want the student to have IELTS and some specialized program. But overall, if you are not in this category, if you are going for a general, for an example, let's say if you are going for a business masters or a computer science or anything out of this range on the right hand side, you are safe. You don't have to worry at all. Okay, now what's the application process? You can see some beautiful sceneries here. Now, application process, course and university selection, which you all have done today. You all spoke to the university representatives, you got your spot admissions. And after getting your usual process, after doing this, you have to submit the application. But today you spoke to the representative and got your spot admission, right? So now we have to formalize this process, which means you have to, after this session, me and my team, we will be contacting you and we will go through the options you received. And then we will pick maybe the top 1 to 2 options and we can submit the application officially to the university. Because although you got the spot admission today, we have to go through the standard process. That is how it is tracked. So you will be sending us all the key documents. We'll be going through that. And once you submit that, we will straight away go ahead and we'll submit your application today itself so that you can secure the same spot admission you got from the country rep today. So once you get the application, your offer letters will be very fast tracked because you met the country representative in face to face. They spoke to you, they know your profile. So getting your offer letter is very fast. So if you don't do this process, it might take up to 2 to 3 weeks, or even sometimes some universities take like 30 to 50 days. Now in your case, within next 2 to 3 days, because today is Saturday, tomorrow is Sunday, and we have these elections coming as well. Due to that, we might have some kind of a slowness, but we can guarantee you by next 2 to 3 business days, you will have your offer letters in your hand. And once you have your offer letters, then we have the cash process. So we will guide you through the cash process, how to do, how to answer everything. And then the final stage is the visa process. So let me take you through one by one. So let's go to the post selection, course and university selection. This is what you did today. You went through our open day, you talked to university reps, and they gave you all the options. And this is the process we are going to do today. After this call, we'll be contacting you and you will be sharing us all these details. I can see some faces, known faces. Your documents we already have. The people who we met for the first time today, you need to submit all these documents. If you have everything, we can start the application process today itself. So basically, we need your passport copy. All the copies, you don't have to give us any hard copies. Everything digital copies, scan copies, or well taken photos are fine. So we need your passport copy, your A-level and O-level certificates obtained from the Ministry of Education, not the one issued by the school, that red color or the pink color, that certificate, or sometimes it's yellow. The one issued from the Education Ministry or the Foreign Ministry. We need that. And if you are applying for a master's degree, we need your degree transcript and your degree certificate. Sometimes students don't have their degree certificate if their graduation was not there. In that case, they have a separate letter called the completion letter issued by the university that is also accepted. And some universities, they have this medium of instruction letter or the MOI letter, that is an optional one. Sometimes in the degree certificate or the completion letter, they mention the degree was conducted in English. So that is also fine. So if you have a separate letter, that's fine. If you don't have, don't panic, that's fine. And if you are planning for a master's, then a CV is required. If you have a CV, always don't make it just one page CV. If you are applying for a master's, make sure you write everything you did. Like when I say you did, now you have all these tools. So you can use tools like ChatGPT, not to hide anything or not to write any fake things, but you put whatever in your mind, what you actually did, your roles or responsibility, things like that, and then you feed it to ChatGPT and get your updated CV. So that way you can modify it, and that is your actual profile there. So make sure your CV is at least like 2 to 3 pages with valuable information. So the person who is looking at it sees you as a potential candidate or a great candidate to offer a spot in their university. So that should be your goal. Then the statement of purpose. There are two statements of purpose or the SOP. Okay, so the initial SOP, it is a very small one, like 1 to 2 pages maximum. That is basically you are saying why you are applying for this program, why do you like it, so things like that. And the second version is the detailed SOP. I will cover that during the visa process section here. So when it comes to that second SOP, that's the in detailed SOP. I will explain you that further. So don't panic. I know you might be thinking, okay, how do I write an SOP? I don't know. I haven't written anything. Don't worry. We give you templates. You can follow those templates. You can identify what information should be there. Also, we will help you to review the SOP you had written. So whatever you submit, we don't just go and submit to the university. Our expert panel review it. Only when we are happy, then only we go ahead and submit it. So you have that confidence and you can be clear with that. And reference letters. So reference letters are optional. Some universities at the conditional offer stage, they ask for reference letters. So academic and professional, if you are going for, like if you have any university lecturer, you can ask for a academic reference letter, or you can get a professional letter saying you work at your current place, what are the roles and responsibilities. So that kind of a one-page document is enough, as long as the letterhead is there, the signee's details, the person's name, the designation, and like all the standard things. As long as it's a correct letter, that's fine. Okay, so what's next? Receiving offer letter. So this is what you went through today. As I put here, so you can receive your offer letters within the next 2 to 5 business days. Now these are some sample offer letters. Now you all met these country representatives, so I just want to show you how your offer letter looks like, because most of the students have not seen an offer letter. So I just want to give that feeling. So this is a offer letter for one of our students who went for a biotechnology MSc this year, January. You can see the start date, 27th of January 2025. University of Chester, and this is for Coventry. Again, a very close offer, 7th of April last month, 2025 for MSc Data Science. And this is University of Law. Some of you met the country manager today. And this is Sunderland. So Nottingham Trent, Greenwich. So there are, like different universities. So we help all these students to secure their offers. And this is just to get an idea. And another example, as I told you, you can see here University of Law, the course fee is 16th. I don't know whether you can see it for an example. See this. Now, this course fee is 16,350 and they awarded international bursary of £3,000. And the campus is Birmingham, which is out of London. So that's an example. Now, when it comes to Sunderland, the course fee is 16,000. The scholarship was 14,000. But recently we have another student who's going to the University of Sunderland, the same university, but that student got a scholarship of 3,500 because of that student's credit, the past studies, the academics, and the work experience. So it depends. And this is another example. The tuition fee is 15,700. And this is another one. You can see 17,450. So and the deposit is 3,000. So this is the cash deposit which I mentioned you. So every university has their own requirements, own methods of providing these offer letters, and those offer letters have different conditions. So I hope you all are clear. Nishantan, you're asking for the contact. Yeah, so that's fine, Nishantan. After this meeting, you can contact me or my team. I will put my number as well at the end of the presentation. So don't worry, we will guide you, Nishantan. So I will share you all the details at the end of the presentation. If you missed the previous part, we will help you. Don't worry. So thanks for that question. So similar to Nishantan, if you also have any other questions, please kindly put it in the chat. Okay. So I hope you don't have any other questions. So let's move on to the next stage, which is receiving offer letters. So today you received your spot admissions, most of you. Now, when you receive your actual offer letter usually has some conditions. Now, this is an example. Now, some students, if they are A levels or O levels or MOI or UK degrees are not there, then the university would ask for IELTS. So if you have your MOI or your A level or O level or UK degrees, and the country manager confirmed you today that you can get IELTS waivers, you will not get this condition. Sometimes, like the universities mix up because of the large volume, but you don't have to really worry even if you see that, because if your profile is well fit into that, we can talk back to the country manager and get those kind of mistakes done. So in general, you will usually see this kind of conditions, and they have, see this one, you have to complete and pass the interview assessment with the International Student Support Team. That is your CAS interview, known as the CAS interview. And please ensure you have completed all sections of CAS Shield. That is like an online portal for your CAS to access the CAS Shield. Sometimes they ask for reference copies, academic copies, like these kind of things. And also you can see, this is the other part I told you about the CAS. To get the CAS, you have to pay 5,000 or 8,000 pounds. So this is how it looks like. You are required to accept your offer and pay 8,000 pounds deposit to secure your place onto the course by 9th December. So this is another condition. So this is an example. So the next one, once you get your offer and you meet your conditions, you have to pay the initial tuition fee deposit. So usually it is 5,000 to 8,000, but there are some universities they ask for like 3,000 as well. But it doesn't mean you are paying 3,000. It is the only payment, because Although you pay 3,000 before you are going to the UK, you have to make sure your total payment is like 50% of the total course fee. So that's how they structure. So it's good to say between 5,000 to 8,000 you have to pay before you are going. So that is your initial tuition fee. So how can you pay that? You are not paying anything to us to prosper. You are directly paying everything to the given bank of the university. So in your offer letter, university gives you some web URLs. They have some portals like Convera or Flywire. You can either transfer directly to the university bank account or the card payment or similar method. So all the payment instructions will be mentioned in your cash letter. Sorry, in your offer letter. So once you do your tuition fee deposit, then you will be getting your cash portal login details. So it's an online portal. You will be using giving a username and a password once your payment is received, and there you need to have a interview. So usually CAS also there are two stages: pre-CAS interview and actual CAS interview. Some universities they don't have the pre-CAS, some universities they do, but nothing to worry whether you get one interview or two interviews. We are here to help you. Our team, before the interview, we sit with you, we walk you through each and every question. I mean, like the sample questions they would ask you, and we tell you why they are asking that question and how should you answer that. So we are not just helping you to memorize anything. We are guiding you whenever the question is asked, how to properly structure it, how to understand the rationale behind that question and answer properly. So we will be guiding you through all these CAS interviews. We have preparation sessions where we sit here and we ask you the question, you answer, and then we give our feedback. So you can prepare yourself and we give you materials. If you want to, for an example, if you want to talk to one of your country managers, you can, the country manager also arrange another session. So it's could be just one session or maybe multiple sessions until you feel comfortable. You are not going to do the actual interview. So we can help you with all these things. Then you get the CAS portal access and the next stage, which is the confirmation of acceptance for studies or the CAS. So this is another process. Now what happens here is, as I showed you earlier, you will be getting a portal called the Cash Shield. So this is the Cash Shield looks like. You get your username and password once you make the payment. And within Cash Shield, they ask multiple questions. So you can see the questions they are asking here. Now, if I zoom this in, this is how the Cash Shield looks like. And under cash checklist summary, they ask your name, the gender, birth. This is like your personal information. This is this is more like the step between you and your visa, the immigration. So university's visa team manages this. So we have to make sure this process is strictly adhered and you do the right thing here. Okay, so it asks for all these questions. English test here. If you have waivers, you can mention that. Then your history, where did you travel earlier, your responsibilities, finances, so everything. And your UK visa. Now, if you have, for an example, this is a student who got a previous visa refusal. So this is again one of our success stories. So this student had a Canadian visa refusal back in 2024. When he came to us, he had so many questions. He was a bit worried whether he would get another visa refusal, but we helped him. End of the day, he got the visa, and now he is in the UK event, I think, for the Jan intake. And then, so we have to mention all this because don't hide anything, because even if you hide any details from the immigration, they can find it. So if you hide any critical information and they find it, you are not getting a visa refusal. It will be a total ban. So when you are banned from a country, you can't enter any other country as well. If it's a visa refusal, that's fine. Visa refusal is just based on the way you answered that moment or the uh, or your lack of knowledge is the result for a visa refusal. But if you provide fraud documents, or if you did something and you did not expose it in your visa, you gave a false answer and the immigration finds it, then it will be a straightaway ban. You can't travel to any other country for at least like 10 years. So that will be a black mark and you are in big trouble. So never go into providing false documents or anything. And uploading your other documents, your TB test, that is like a chest X-ray, and yeah. So then also proving your finances. So you are paying this £5,000 payment, and then this is the balance, the show money which we discussed earlier. So that show money component, you have to show this much is in the account under your term deposit or the fixed deposit, and the fixed deposit later. And then this student got a scholarship of 1,500. So that is also calculated to that is also evaluated to calculate the final fee. So this is a sample cash shield. I know most of the agents don't show you this. They ask you to do this, but at Prosper, we help you through this process because we know if you make a mistake and this process gets, like you get stuck somewhere, getting out of this, it takes time and it's a headache. So we don't want you to go through that pain. So we are helping you throughout this process, and we sit with you and we guide you each and every step how to answer properly. So you will be all right. And this is another step, the precast question. They are asking some other questions. Why did you choose this course? So that's the same question I asked at the first point. So all these questions they ask, and you have to write some answers as well. So all these answers, how to answer properly, we will guide you. So you don't have to worry. And you have to check what are the other universities you compared, what was the reason, things like that. Then precast questionnaire, once you graduate, how much you expect to earn. So all these things. So once you submit that, so that's the CAS interview. And then, as I mentioned, this is the TB certificate or the tuberculosis certificate, where you have to take a chest X-ray, and that also we have to upload as a part of the CAS. Okay. So once the portal is updated, next step is the CAS interview. So what's the CAS interview? So CAS interview is basically like an interview. They ask 15 to 20 questions. This CAS interview is computer based. So there is no one behind the computer. It is more like a recording. They ask a question, give you like 15 to 20 seconds to prepare for the answer, and then your answer will be recorded. So likewise, there are 15 to 20 questions, and all the recordings will be submitted at the end of the interview. And someone from the university side, university visa team, they go through the CAS answers which you submitted, and they make sure you answered properly and your intentions are genuine to come to the UK. So you can see there are, like you have multiple attempts, one or two, but sometimes they allow you to go to up to three. But don't worry, once you are doing well in one sit, you can get through the CAS interview. So this is one of the most critical interviews most of the students are worried about. But at Prosper, we help you through multiple mock interviews and information guides and sessions. So you will be all right. And these are some CAS questions. At this point, you don't have to, like put all these things into your mind. We are just giving you what are the process, what are the steps and the process. So when you go through the process, we will guide you accordingly. So you don't have to worry at all. We will step by step take you through this process and make sure you are in the UK this September. And once you do this, this is the sample CAS document. So if you haven't seen, everyone is talking about CAS, CAS, CAS. So this is the CAS document, confirmation of acceptance for studies. The template might be different, the logo might be different, but These are the basic details, and you can see the sponsorship license number. This is what I told you earlier. This is the number linked to your visa application. So that is why your CAS is really important, because without having a CAS as an international student, you can't go into the UK, because you need to have this license, that is this document, and the license number is linked to your visa. So I hope we are clear up until that, and we have so many other details in the CAS which you don't have to worry. So you just have to understand what the process is. All right. So we completed these 4 cycles, and now we are on the last one, which is the visa process. That is another crucial point where most of the students are worried of. All right. So now once you have your CAS, we have to submit the visa application. So this is an actual UK visa application if you have not seen any. If you have seen before, that's fine. But once you submit your application, it looks like this. It has a lot of questions. You have to make sure you properly answer that. You don't mess anything out, because you are giving false information, as I said earlier, might impact you up to 10 years ban, or maybe a visa refusal if you don't do it in a proper way. So you have to make sure the application is correctly filled. Now, yeah, so it has all this, and you can see it here. So page 1 of 11, that means this whole document, after filling and saving as a PDF, it has 11 pages. So it will ask all these questions about your visa and immigration history, personal information, your travel information, course details, personal info, passport details, dependents, uh, employment, family, do you know where you live, accommodation, travel history, other history, convictions, extra information, sponsors, English language, scholarship, student loans, maintenance, documents, payments, consent declaration. So you have to go through this entire process as a part of your visa. Don't worry, I know it is, you might be thinking this is very tough process. It is not, trust me, because we have so many students, as I showed you in the previous slide. At the moment, we have number of 5-star Google reviews. It is not just a student come in and put in the review. They all went through this process. For some people, they had very tough history. They had refusals. They couldn't get their offer letters on time. Their cast interviews they failed, and then maybe had to go back to the university. So many issues. But if you have that focus, and if you are genuinely interested, then you can also be successful. So don't worry, this is not hard as it looks like. So don't worry, we will guide you through this process. All right. Now the next step is the visa process. So once you complete this entire visa application, then we go through the biometric submission. So for that, you have to go to the VFS office in person with your biometric, the visa file. And before you are going there, you come to us with your printed copies, and our visa expert will go through your file, make sure all the sections are correct, and the file is 100% complete. Then only we allow you to go and submit. So on your submission day, you take that visa file along with your passport and all the so the documents are inside the file, the passport, and then you go there, you hand it over, they get it scanned, and you give your biometrics, and then you can come back. So that's sorry. So that's what the visa process is about. Now for the visa. For the visa file, you have a document checklist. When you submit your application, they give you a customized checklist. You have to attach that. Then your CAS letter, your TB certificate, your detailed SOP, which I will cover again, your identity documents, education qualifications, employment references, financial evidences, UK accommodation evidences. So we have to attach all these things. Again, don't worry, this list looks like a big long list. But nothing to worry, we will guide you throughout this process. The next, I touched on the detailed SOP, so you might be having questions. So earlier, I discussed about two types of SOPs. The first one is the little or the small SOP where you submit at the initial stage or the application submission stage. The second one is the detailed SOP. So the detailed SOP is how to write that. So for that, you need to have the introduction. Then about your family background, education background, professional experience, reasons why you are looking outside Sri Lanka, and reasons why you are choosing the UK, not any other country. Reasons for choosing that specific university, that specific program, and your career opportunities locally and globally. Then your home ties, where to intend to live, cost of living, financial details, and the conclusion and all attachments. So all these aspects should be included in your SOP. Again, I know this sounds too much, but it is not. The SOP itself might be long, like 8 to 10 pages, but we give you the template. We help you with how to fill that specific section with your details, not any chat GPT or copy paste details. It is basically your SOP. And once you write the SOP, we will not just go ahead and submit. Our expert team will go through and review the SOP itself. And once we feel it is a good SOP, it is up to the standard, then only we give you the go ahead to go and submit with your biometrics. So we will help you through this process. Now the next thing is UK interview, UK VI interview. If there are chances you are invited, but there are most of the times, I can't say like most, but 50-50. Sometimes they invite, sometimes they are not, they don't. So it all depends. Um, we can't guarantee whether you will get it or not because immigration is totally out of our control. We help you to do the best up until submitting your visa application. So once you do your part well, then it doesn't matter. Even if you get for a week UK VI interview, you are quite confident you did the right thing. Okay. And if you are invited, we will again have another session. This is out of the CAS interview sessions and the prep sessions. This is a total UKVI interview. We have a separate expert for that. We will have a separate session for you and that person. And you will have that training before the UKVI interview. And we cover what are the visa types, how to gather the required documents, completing your visa application form and the financial documents, the proof of home ties. We'll practice your interview questions, English language proficiency, understanding the immigration rules, how to dress for the interview and rehearse your interview and bring in the original documents and reviewing it and how to answer calm and confident. So all these we will guide you if you are invited for the interview. You don't have to worry because sometimes students get this UKVI interview, but it is easy. You don't really have to worry. If you are prepared, if you know how to answer and someone have trained you, then you know how to go and face the interview with confidence and staying calm. So how to avoid common visa rejection traps? So these are very important. Insufficient financial proof. Sometimes students show funds which is actually not in the bank. So don't do that. Weak SOP or inconsistent story. Sometimes your SOP does not reflect your entire story. You are talking about your school days and suddenly you jump into your current stage and there's a gap like 5-10 years. What happened there? So that is not covered. So those are the gaps you have to address in your SOP. Also, your story should be consistent. You did a bachelor's degree, you worked part-time or you work full-time, and what you are doing right now and what you are going to do in the UK, everything aligns. So you have to show this consistency in your application and your SOP. Suspicious documentation. Sometimes you might not think, okay, if I submit that reference letter, they might think it is okay. But no, always think the visa officer, they go through like 100, 200 applications per day. For you, it is just one application for the entire lifetime, but for them, it is like 100, 200. So just imagine a person going through like how many? 3,000 to 6,000 applications per month, picking the tiny mistake or a forged document you are submitting. They can easily pinpoint this is a forged document, this is a real document. So don't go with any forged documents or any suspicious documents. And low IELTS or PTEs or language waiver issues. For an example, sometimes in Sri Lanka, agents promote that they can give you embrace without IELTS. But when it goes to the UK BI, they question how can a student going for a research master's apply without IELTS? It is okay if the student is going for a taught master's. So those kind of conflicts are there. So don't make sure your IELTS clause is not in the offer. Don't worry, we will help you with that. You'll be fine. But these are the tips you have to keep in your mind. And poor interview preparation. So if you are not ready for your CAS interview, if you are not ready for your UKVI interview, the chances are extremely high that you are going to fail because you don't know what the questions will be, how to answer, what the logic behind it. So you have to be very knowledgeable and thorough about these interviews before going. An incomplete application. So if your application does not have all the information, that is also a visa refusal reason. And unexplained education gaps, as I mentioned earlier. All right. I hope we are clear up until that. Now, quick tips. Use only genuine documents, as I said. Ensure your story is consistent. Practice visa interview in advance. If you are invited for an interview, don't worry. We will set up those meetings. We'll bring our experts. You will have that resources. We will help you with that. Double check visa checklist by country. Now, this is the final stage, which is the most happiest day of most of your life, which is getting the visa. Now, see this example. So this is what we want to see in few months' time for all of you. This is getting your visa grant from the UK Visa and Immigration, and for we have blurred out these details, but this is what you are getting. So once you have this message, you will be really happy. So that's the time most all our students are calling us. They are over the moon. So we want to see that happiness in you in the next few months. So this is the stamp, visa stamp for the vignette we call in your passport. So it comes with the UK seal and all the details are here. So this is usually like your entry permit to the country. Once you go into the country, the actual visa starts. This is for like 3 months, but once you land in the UK, your actual e-visa starts from the day one to up until that specific 1 year or 1.5 or 2 years or whatever the period. And then currently they have this e-visa as well. So before you are going to the UK, we will help you with the e-visa as well. Okay. So these are very straight. These are very easy process. Don't worry. I know this looks too much, but it is not. With right guidance, you will be all right. And then pre-departure and arrival. So this is basically something we cover before your departure. We have a separate pre-departure arrival session. We will walk you through everything you need to know, including your planning and travel arrivals and like how to book flights. We will give you like the cheapest options to find the best route and the fastest flight to your destination and avoiding longer delays or the transit. So we will guide you through that. then how to find secure accommodation, what are the websites, how to connect with the locals in those areas. We will guide you with that. Then prepare you for the cultural fit, what you need to do. We will advise you on that, especially the customs, the etiquettes, and the lifestyle, as well as the accent, the food, weather, and social norms. We will guide you through that because you are going from Sri Lanka to a different environment. You need to know these basics. So we will guide you through these as well. Also, we will give you the first week checklist, what you need to do, how to open your bank account, how to get the SIM card, how to apply for your NI or the tax number, and the orientation process and the university registration. So we will walk you through this entire process. Now, this is also another important aspect, post-graduation pathways, or in other terms, what happens once you complete your bachelor's or the master's. So usually for a graduate, you can, after completing your bachelor's or the master's, you are eligible to apply for post-study work visa, which is known as the graduate visa, which is valid usually for 2 years up until master's. But if you go for a PhD, it is 3 years post-study work visa. And it allows full-time work, the postgraduate visa, and that enables you to explore more career opportunities. There are some universities who are providing industry placements, but if your program is providing industry placement, we highly recommend you to get that due to few reasons. One is, once you complete that second year, for an example, let's say you are going for a master MBA, just a generic subject I'm saying. So after completing your MBA 1 year, you can go for industry placement, which is another 1 year. So you have to pick this. Once you do this, you have in your CV, you have 1 year UK work experience. So by the time you go to the job market, you have UK work experience in your CV, and employers look at you as an experienced person with a person with local experience. So that really matters. So we always encourage you to apply. And the other part is, if you have that placement year option, that would cost you a fraction of the total fee. It would be like, if your course fee is like 15,000, this additional 1 year would be 1,750 or 2,000 or less than 2,000 pounds. And you have to pay that at the second year. I'm talking about master students, but for bachelor students, there are different variations. And also the other part is, you have to decide this upfront, because for master students, the moment you complete your the 1 year masters, you can't decide and say, I want to go to the second year. No, you can't do that. You have to decide it before applying for your visa, because based on that, they calculate your IHS, the health surcharge, as well as your visa duration. So you have to decide it upfront. So these are the things you have to keep in your mind. And also, industry placements help you to build the university supported placements, your career opportunities, build local work experience, and you get the chance to work with locals. So this is the optional 2 year masters I just told you. So if you go to that, for an example, this is from the University of Chester, where they charge £1,750, where the full course fee is around 15,000. And you only have to pay that 1,750 at the end of the first year or beginning of the second year. All right. So post-graduation pathways, you have to plan your career, define your short and long-term goals, as I mentioned in the beginning of this presentation. Optimize your LinkedIn and resume, attend workshops and career coaching, network with alumni and mentors. So that will help you to plan your career well ahead. And the important thing, we always want, if you were part of our WhatsApp group, we discuss about this. We want you to become very successful. You are going from Sri Lanka not just to become another standard or a typical Sri Lankan who is just doing a random job. We want you to complete your studies. We want you to hit the highest target you can go. That means at least a six-figure income. I know this sounds crazy. If you talk to a person in the UK and you talk this way, they might say you are crazy. but that's the way we want you to look at your life, because you are investing in your life and you need to go to this six-figure income at least. It is true you are not going to achieve this in your first year, but down the line in 2 to 3 years, or maybe if you are smart, maybe within 3 years you can reach this goal, or even 3 to 5, you should have that goal. So six-figure income means I'm not talking about rupee income, we are talking about pound income. When you convert that, we are talking around 40 million Sri Lankan rupees per annum, per year. That is the capacity, the minimum capacity if you go for a six-figure salary. This is not, I am just bragging you. If you go and check the National Statistics website or some salary guides like Hayes, like world-renowned salary guides, you can find these information. So that is where we want you to be. It is not just completing your UK degree and you are just staying idle in the UK doing a random job. That should not be your life. So you should always target high. And I know this is not told by many of the agents, but this is where we always want you to focus. And we are here to help you to achieve that goal, because we believe if you do that, it is not just you are earning a good salary, you can help your family, you can help your like loved ones, friends, and even the generations to come. So that's the way you should look at this entire picture. It is not just getting a visa and going to the UK, it is all about this end goal. So keep that in mind. All right, so any questions up to this point? Okay, no problem. So when I send you the initial comms, we send there are a few extras and bonuses. So that's the part I want to cover now. Now, if I ask you, if you go to a different agent to provide all these services I explained you, or since 4 o'clock, so it's now 5:45. So I presented this for like one hour and 45 minutes. So you understood how much worth this would be, right? So if you go to someone else, what are the fees and charges they would ask you for? You might have gone to other agents earlier. This might not be your first time. So if I ask you this question, how much they would charge? So they have different fees for every category. They charge for initial consultations, for your course matching, the eligibility assessment, SOPs. Most of the agents they don't help you to write your SOP. They ask the student to bring the SOP. CVs, resumes, they ask you to bring it. Applications, they charge per application. Scholarships and search advice, they charge separately. Visa documentations, they have visa submission fee. Mock interviews, per hour or per interview, they charge you. Pre-departure briefing, sometimes they charge you. Accommodation and travel advice, orientation, post-graduation and career guidance, life skills and mindset coaching. So all these things agents usually charge you. If you go through their numbers, so it would look like something like this. If you total that, that would be like 250,000 rupees. We know there are some places even charge 1 million, 100, so 1 million or 10 lakhs. But what are we charging? For everything I explained you, we are doing for 0 rupees. We don't charge anything from the student. So the entire thing I explained you from the beginning, all services are covered. We don't charge a single cent from you. There are no hidden costs. Because you might ask you then, how do we do that? So because universities look after us, so we actually look after you. We provide that in return to you, because we have to be transparent and we have to be open. So you get all these services, all the payments will go directly from your bank account to the university. You are not paying us a single cent. We don't charge anything for this end-to-end process. So that's the guarantee you have with us, and you will have our full support from your application submission, which we are going to call you after this presentation. Once you are submitting your initial document set up until getting your visa to go to the UK this year, we will help you throughout. We are taking you through that journey. You can ask us any question at any time. We are here to help you because we believe your success matters the most. So congratulations once again, those who received your spot admissions today. We are really proud of you. So the next step, as I mentioned you after this call, within the next 1 hour, I know it is a bit late, but apologies for that. We've been running the session since morning. So within the next 1 hour, you will receive a call from our team. We will go through the options you received. I'm pretty sure our team was working in the background, send you all the options through WhatsApp already by now. So we'll discuss and get your documents set. Tomorrow is a holiday, I know, but our team is working hard. So we'll start your application today itself, tonight itself, worst case, tomorrow morning, the first thing. So that is going to happen. The next steps, you have passed your eligibility assessment, or maybe you just want to get some information, that's fine. But if you pass the assessment, you spoken to country representatives, you got their consent, that is fine. So you made the second step as well. Now it's about to start your journey. So once again, congratulations. Thank you so much for being with us here for this long. And it's an honor to share this knowledge. I know it's a long time, 2 hours, but I'm pretty much sure that you learned a lot from this presentation. If you have any questions which I missed during this presentation, or you have a personal question to ask related to your journey, it's your time. Please feel free to ask. I promise one more thing to share our details. If you want to directly talk to us, please give us a call on 077-707-2305. I put it in the chat. Please call us on this number if you have any further, if you need any clarifications. Yeah, so myself or my team will guide you with all your doubts, and we will clarify. So don't worry, we have helped so many students with, like pass with a lot of challenges. They all had the same success story. We want you to be also successful and start your journey. So keep always in your mind, you are here because you took the action. That is what most of the people don't do. Everyone wants to have the good life, but no one wants to put that extra effort. So on this Saturday, you spend few hours just to understand your options and to be different from the large audience. When we sent initially all these communications, over 1,000 people received that. They went through all this, but only handful of people finally turned up because you really wanted a change in your life. So we want to help you. Thanks for being part of this. If you have any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask the questions. I am happy to answer and help you with that. Or you can type in the chat so we can even take it from there. Please feel free to ask any questions. All right. If you don't have any questions, thank you so much for staying this long with us. You have our number on the chat. It is 077-707-2305. The number will be a bit busy after this, as we are already getting calls. So if you don't have or you can save it and you can send us a WhatsApp message, the same number you can use for WhatsApp. That would be the best channel. Ask your question with your name then our team will be there for you. So congratulations. Thanks for being with us and have a good night and a nice weekend. Then have a nice rest of the week. Thanks, everyone. Dulanjali or Parthi, do you have any questions to ask? Okay, no problem. Thank you.